Hey everybody, welcome into Warp Factor 10, our show about all things Star Trek here on the Arena Productions. I'm your host X-Pat along with my co-host Burley. Burley, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's time to start talking about Star Trek Lower Decks, obviously. Season 3, Episode 8. So yeah, Crisis Point 2. So we get another Paradoxus. So we get another episode which is kind of a sequel to a Season 1 episode. So yeah, this is some cool stuff we're going to talk about here. So this week we're talking all about holodecks, Burley.
Yep.
Holodecks. But before we get into that, I just want to let everybody know, obviously, there are going to be spoilers throughout this episode of course, Warp Factor 10 and our Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 8, Paradoxus breakdown and discussion. So if you have not watched the episode yet, please go and check out our episode and enjoy our video, because we're going to be talking a lot of spoilers. And as you can see, Mariner there, she's giving you the spoiler alert warning. So be forewarned. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it, Burley. So we get the holodeck sequence here. And of course, the Cerritos is under attack by the Romulan ship. And you got these Romulan triplets or whatever,
Yep.
And then you get, of course, the Wayfarer here, this ship that is similar to the Titan. So the USS Wayfarer, and obviously it's captained by none other than Boimler, but a different Boimler, of course. His name is Dagger, Captain Dagger. What did you think of that sequence there?
Yeah, I like that, but if I had to, after watching this, I had to rewatch the Season 1 episode because I did not see that one. Mm-hmm. So I had to rewatch to gain a little context.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. And then, of course, there's this glowing, it looks like a glowing crystal type of thing. We don't know what it is exactly in the beginning there. But then, of course, the Romulans, they come aboard because they severely damage the Cerritos, and they're able to take this thing away and get away. And, of course, it's like, should we go after them? And it's like, no, the first, thing Captain Dagger says is we need to protect the Cerritos and all. And so, but anyway, and then, of course, there's a message for Boimler that, of course, Ransom wants to talk to him, and so he has to leave. And so he says Arch, of course, and then the holodeck opens, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that was pretty cool. And so I want to get more into the story here, because there's kind of like two arcs here. There's kind of like Boimler's story of the holodeck, and then there's also Tendi's story of the holodeck, which is pretty cool, and what I really want to get to is this scene here. It's like shades of the Wrath of Khan. It's like you get the of course the researcher there, and she's supposed to be like Carol Marcus, and everything from like in Star Trek 2, and everything, and she's all beautiful and everything. The holodeck program made her all beautiful and everything, and she's like making a pass at Boimler, or
oh, she's doing more than making a pass. She's basically saying, "Here, come with me. I will bed you."
And he's just having no part of it, man. And like Mariner's getting on and jumping on his case about it and all. Yeah, and then she goes to the computer terminal there, and she starts showing them, and it looked just like in Star Trek 2. It's like you see the grid there and everything, and Rutherford's he's all like, oh man, the graphics are so cool, and basically it's they're talking about this. It's called the chronogamy. The chronogamy is what these Romulans were after, and it's supposed to be something that can manipulate space and time and destroy like the Federation in the past or in the future or wherever, So, and then of course the term origami comes up, because it's like, when it starts to create itself, it looks like origami paper and everything. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I like that the sequence. That was pretty cool. So, and then we get to the planet, and then of course, Boimler, he's having of course he's trying to be this other character called Dagger, Captain Dagger, but he learned something, when he was outside of the holodeck, and he comes back in, and we don't really know what that is yet, but he feels like he's depressed and he needs to figure out something else, and so he gives Tendi, her character, the command, to go after this, the chronogami thing. And I like this sequence here. This sequence kind of reminded me of, I think it was Star Trek Nemesis, when they are in the in that Jeep, going around in the desert there. Yeah. So, what did you think of this sequence, Burley? I think Burley has just lost his volume. So,
yeah. And then flashed off.
Can you say that again, Burley? Because we lost your audio there.
Yeah, I said, yeah, I do believe this was in Nemesis. What you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I do like that they did this, that they split off into two groups, so that you have two stories going throughout this episode.
Yeah.
And that Boimler makes her captain, and that they're going off on this adventure.
Yeah. And it's cool when she jumps off of that speeder thing there. It reminded me of like, in the Matrix, Trinity, in the Matrix.
Trinity with the bike, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, so let's go ahead and move on. And then, of course, Boimler, he's like, trying to figure out the meaning of life, because obviously Mariner finds out that his twin, that was the transporter twin that was created of Boimler, who was serving on the Titan. Supposedly he died from like some kind of gas leak in his quarters or something like that. And so, Mariner is trying to comfort him and all, and they get into, some other extracurricular activities and everything with, that was a Knick-Knack. Was one of the characters that was created in the holodeck and everything, and Knick-Knack becomes really huge and starts to beat up on all these other holographic images and stuff like that, and there's this guy that has like a map that's tattooed to his body and everything, and so he's like telling him it's supposed to tell him where to go to find the meaning of life, and then it's like it says something like Kitty something on it, Kitty-ack or something like that, Kitty-ack or something. Yeah. And then so they go there, and then of course it's just this big stone structure thing, and Boimler doesn't get the answers he wants from this stone structure god type of thing, and so he starts going inside and trying to figure out what it is, and basically it's like the Wright brothers and Kitty Hawk, so that was kind of like in Star Trek the Motion Picture, when they go into that structure and there's the V'ger, remember, and it's actually Voyager, so, but and then of course he transports. What's interesting is he hallucinates, and he goes into, of course, another shout out to the Star Trek movies, obviously, and of course Star Trek Generations, where he goes to the barn. It's basically Kirk's barn in Idaho, but now it's owned by Captain Sulu, which was pretty cool. What'd you think of this part, Burley?
Yeah, I like this, and like you said, the nod to Generations. This was a nice little thing. I don't think it was actually voiced by George Takei, though, Sulu here.
It was actually. No. The credits have him on there. So.
Okay, yeah. See, I didn't watch the credits. It didn't sound like him to me. So.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see him back.
Yeah.
And him try and give the thing, and then I love the comedic moment. Okay, the horse, because Boimler just goes off and all that. He's like,
Horsey's gonna bite you now.
You know.
Yeah. And then I love that scene where like he wakes up in sick bay, and it's like, they're talking about what was going on and everything, and then it's like the doctor comes up and she's like, "Get the hell out of here! We got this guy coming in and he's all burned. He's a burn victim. He was like leaning up against the warp core, and it's like, oh, this is the second time today. It's like that was pretty funny, but so. And anyway, let's get back to Tendi's story. Of course, she's playing like the commander, in charge of the mission. Of course, we see the triplet Romulans here. And basically she gets the chronogami, and they have to go back in time to like 3 different, time periods. It's like 2341 they go back, and then they go to like Australia and Sydney, Australia in like 1982, to the museum to the big octopus thing, there, and then these thugs come up and they beat up the thugs, and Rutherford's like trying to take the clothes away from the one guy. I thought that was pretty cool, and then they go to 2161 with the signing of the charter, to form the Federation and all and stuff like that, and then they get the they're able to get the chronogami and then swap it, and then they go back basically to the exact point at the beginning of the episode, and then they dupe the Romulans into thinking they have the chronogami, but basically it's the bomb that I guess Rutherford had put together, and then it blows up the ship, and then she looks like the great captain, and she basically is like, this is really what I want to do. I want to be a captain in the future. So basically Boimler is like trying to figure out the meaning of life after he finds out that his twin from the transporter, is now dead. But then Tendi, she's trying to, figure out, well, do I want to get into command or not? And, do I really want to be a captain in the future? And she seems to really want to do that. And of course, Rutherford is, by her side, obviously, and it's really cool. So, I really like the character development from the 2 characters in this, and obviously Mariner, she's great as always. I mean, she's sarcastic and everything. I love that. And of course Rutherford, he didn't give a shit in this episode.
I was gonna say I loved Rutherford for this episode because he knows this is a holodeck. Tendi is taking this so freaking seriously. Rutherford's just going, he's going getting food. I love it. The sandwich. And then after he's done eating the sandwich, he's eating chips. What? You're gonna have sandwich, you're gonna have chips. I just I love, he is just taking this, like, just having fun and going through. And it's like, that's the stuff I like. It's like, it's a holodeck, let's just have fun. And then she gives the whole speech of her wanting to be a captain and all that. And he's like, I support you. You can do it.
Right.
I love it. It's great moments and great character development.
Right. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Yeah, and it's like, obviously the first crisis point was, kind of like Mariner's, film, hollow film, so to speak. And of course, now this episode was, Boimler's hollow film, and basically it was interesting at the end of the episode, Boimler and Mariner walking down the hallway there, and he's saying, I hate cliffhangers and stuff like that, but we actually get a cliffhanger in a sense with the Section 31 part at the very end there, where his twin there, created from the transporter, William Boimler, he's not actually dead. You get a Reliant class vessel, that decloaks, and he gets revived basically, and he's not dead. And so basically they're making him join Section 31. What did you think of that sequence, Burley?
Yeah, that I didn't see coming. That's nice. I'm hoping we get something with it in this season. I hope it's not something they do here, and it's a callback, and like season 4 or 5 we get the payoff. I'm hoping this season. But it could be really, really interesting, and it has me hooked for, okay, when's this coming back? Is this coming back episode like 15? When in the season? I like the part. He's just like Boimler, man. He's like saying, what about these the communicator pins and all and everything, and then the Section 31 person, you don't see their face fully. It's like, you could still be dead.
And then he like tosses the regular, pin, and then he puts the Section 31 pin on, and he's like, and then they take off. So, let's talk at the end here about what we feel might happen. We only have 2 more episodes left in this season. So, I mean, what do you think we might get in the last 2 episodes? Me personally, I think this chronogamy thing could be the catalyst for how the Lower Decks, characters, I think it's Mariner and Boimler, are going to be in Strange New World Season 2. Because it was announced at San Diego Comic-Con that their characters are going to be in an episode of Strange New Worlds Season 2. So I'm wondering if this chronogamy is actually going to become a thing in the episode of Strange New Worlds, or possibly at the end of this season of Lower Decks, to set up their transport to Strange New Worlds. Because obviously, Lower Decks takes place in the Next Generation era, towards the end of the 24th century, whereas of course Strange New Worlds is before the Kirk and Spock era by like about a decade. So what do you think, Burley?
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that. For that since we got the tease with Strange New World Season 2, I didn't realize we only had 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
It makes my earlier comment sound pretty dumb.
Yeah, 10 episodes per season. Yeah.
So we'll probably get that for the last episode. For next episode, I say they'll probably focus. We may get something back with Rutherford with the implant, because we got teased all that earlier in the season. So I think we might get a conclusion on that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's a good possibility as well. So, all right, man. So yeah, that has been our breakdown and discussion of Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 8, Paradoxus. So anyway, I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley. We hope to catch you in the next episode of Warp Factor 10. And of course, if you like this episode, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe and the notification bell for when we drop a new episode. And leave us some comments about what you thought of the episode as well. We really love to hear from you. So thank you so much. And just one other quick note. We do have a join button now on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. So if you like all of our content and you want to become a member and help support our content, please be sure to click on that join button and check out how you can join us and become a member of The Arena Productions on YouTube here. Okay. So, of course, this has been our breakdown and discussion of Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 8, Paradoxus. So until the next episode, take care, everyone. Peace.
Take care, everyone.
Out.
Live long and prosper.
That indeed.